Well, this move right here shows just how important Africa is to Russia. Russia views Africa as a continent that will achieve supergrowth through 2050, stating that the continent's population is expected to double alongside its energy consumption. And of course, Russia wants to get in there and make some money on selling Africa all of its oil. And this is the big thing with Syria. It always has been. The pipelines that run through Syria. Russia has been feeding Europe this whole time, and Saudi Arabia, backed by the West, they want to run different pipelines right up through the same area, right outside Damascus, and then into Europe, where they would then cut off Russia out here on this world stage. But China and Russia both have been making huge moves in Africa. China has been going in there to places like Djibouti and saying, hey, we'll give you a huge loan, but if you default on that loan, you got to give us use of one of these key or main ports here for like the next 99 years. You got to let us control everything involved with it. And what they've been doing is basically finding guys that are financially strapped, going in, giving them this money, knowing that they cannot pay it back, and then getting what they want in turn on the other side of the coin when it's all said and done. And what we also have here is Putin holding this first ever Russia-Africa summit in the southern Russia city of Sochi, which had hosted the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, some years ago. And they're saying Russia expects to double trade with Africa through 2025. So this is a huge move to double the trade. So China, Russia, both making big moves here in Africa. This just the latest. Wanted to highlight it and show that they're making big moves. And to solidify this whole thing, to show the whole world they mean business, and even show the U.S. military how much they mean business, Russia just landed 2 bombers. And they cite just that. It's to show where we stand in this situation and show the world that we're standing with South Africa, and we'll fly these nuclear bombers down here just to let everybody know. And that's what they did.
Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rukakadash, double honors, the elders and apostles, a great millstone who are teaching the truth and sincerity, and a shout out to Yakim that's out there on 4 corners of the earth proclaiming this truth. Bracha the Yahweh, Bracha the Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rukakadash, Bracha Tum. So we're watching history in the making as the S-400 systems are now in the places of Hamath and Arpad. That is Africa and the Middle East. So these defense systems are there. Magog now being a guard unto them. So these S-400 systems will definitely take out any Western aggression, aka U.S. aggression. So pretty much though, and in the meantime, pretty much Syria has achieved victory as the U.S. has been driven back from Syria as well. And they're not welcome in Iraq either. You know, so Bashar al-Assad has pretty much pledged to defend the Kurds in the area and has already met with the Syrian Arab Army and with the rest of Syria, as you can see here. And you can read the subtitles. So, it's very rare that you get any news from Syria now in English. They used to have Syria news in English, but only a couple channels really cover that. I mean, you have to really look for it, like Press TV or RT, in order to get this, and otherwise it's still in the original tongue of Arabic. Now, Bashar al-Assad can speak English, but of course he's talking to the Syrian Arab Army, so why would he speak that bastard tongue? Yeah. Nonetheless, though, pretty much, though, the West, America, is being driven out. And so what do you think that's going to do to East Saida? Of course, like everything else, though, what's going to happen is America, they have not left. They'll be back, and in larger numbers. That's why they're gathering more troops into Saudi Arabia, the Valley of Yahushaphat. Yeah, so all of that's there. Savak for this fucking bullshit.
خاصة الأخيرة هي معارك جبارة، الكل يتحدث عنها، الكل يكتب عنها، والآن ما بقى سموه جيش النظام، ما بقى سموه ميليشيا الأسد، صار اسمه جيش سوري.
Yeah, see, they don't even use language like that, Assad's regime and all that. It's only language that America uses. No, they're the Syrian Arab army.
هالأب وهالأم هن الأبطال الحقيقيين. أبوكم وأمكم هن الأبطال وهن المقاتلين اللي نحن ما بنشوفهم، نحن بنشوفكم ونسمع عنكم، ولكن هن اللي قاعدين.
I do apologize for the audio. It seems to not be that great.
أسسوا لهالانتصارات. لولاهم ما المعركة ما في حل وسط، يا كنا بدنا نكون خونة يا وطنيين، ما في هذا نص وطني ونص خائن ما بتزبط في قلب الحرب. فأهلكم أخذوا الخيار من البدايات مع المحتوى الحرب، من البدايات من لما ولدتوا أخذوا هالخيار، وهذا شيء متوارث. فإن شاء الله
he is so much of a more, what do you call that, innovative, in the essence of much easier, shows much better gratitude. Over here, man, you don't even get any recognition from the president. You just get a bunch of fucking lies. You can see the people there, they rejoice because Bashar al-Assad actually has brought victory to Syria, but make no mistake about it, this being the Valley Yehoshaphat, and it's only for a short time. What's happening is these nations are still going to be gathered together to fight in this valley. So it's a short victory. Of course, the war isn't over yet. And while all that's going on over there, as you know, they're making up false accusations. Amalekites now are putting false flags up there saying that someone tried to stab them, saying you're the fake Jews. Because, of course, everybody knows that they're the fake Jews. They're not the real Jews. So they have to put up news reports like that to get everybody to believe. Even though everybody knows that they're not the real ones. So, of course, Esau's getting ready. The Battle of Armageddon is mounting the troops. That's about to happen. It's all being gathered here in the Valley of Yehoshaphat. So, motivative, yeah. He's much more of a motivator than the U.S. military. In fact, most fucking U.S. military, they fucking end up committing suicide anyways. Because they know that they are bastards. They know what they've done. And I'm glad the demons fucking haunt them and they fucking kill themselves. Because that's all that Esau serves is death.
معنى أصعب من إنه نخسر الوطن. وكل هالحرب معنى أصعب من إنه نخسر ثقة ناس موجودين أمامنا الآن عم يستنوا دخول الجيش العربي سوري. كل صعوبة الحرب معنى أصعب من إنه ما نكون قادرين نجاوب أم أو زوجة أو أب أو أخ أو أخت عم يقولوا لنا أولادنا مخطوفين هنيك حررونا إياه. فأنتوا كنتوا بكل المراحل السابقة قدر المهمة وقدر الثقة. إن شاء الله بالصفات اللي فيكم اللي بنعرفها واللي ما قرأ الغرب تنتصر. الله سوريا بشاروه الله سوريا بشاروه. لما عم نحكي على الخريطة وعم نحكي عنكم
So nonetheless, though, he's regaining control in the Idlib province as well, as northern Syria, where all the terrorists were being protected by what Esau's calling the Syrian Democratic Forces, which is nothing more than terror groups, a Mossad operation. So pretty much ISIS, Israeli Secret Intelligence Services, has been defeated. But you know as well as I do that the war is far from over. Because we know what the prophecy says, that one day Damascus will cease. And in that same day, in that same hour, Babylon the Great will also get destroyed. The least of the flock drawn out into this war. Because they're going to make their moves against Syria and against Persia. And then that's it.
فلذلك اليوم هن مستغربين. بعتقد كل واحد وطني وقف مع وطنه من الأيام الأولى ومن الساعات الأولى للحرب قرأ السوريين، والسوريين جسدهم بأفضل الأوجه المقاتل العربي السوري. فلذلك نحن كلنا فخر فيكم.
Serial analysis.
Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will raise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind, and will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in his brigadine. And spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God of the Lord of hosts. Though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel, flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. And let us go, every one, into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies.
I know.
The Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come, and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord our God. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, for his devices against Babylon, to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes, for the Lord hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Barakah Hakwadash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom Lavaquayim, that is peace to the elect. I want to go in on this video. Actually, this was a movie I saw called Knowing. And it relates to prophecy. It has a lot of spirituality in it. Although the movie directors and what they do, they go off as usual. I mean, what do you expect? Okay, but anyway, it was about a young, little boy and a little girl. Okay, and the girl had some form of prophecy, gift of prophecy, and she was 50 years prior. She was writing down prophecies. And they put it in the, when they put it in the capsule and put it underground. 50 years later, Nicolas Cage, this character, Nicolas Cage, he was the father of this boy here. and they gave the information to the people that pulled the information out the capsule, gave it to him, and he started writing down a bunch of information, and Nicolas Cage was breaking down the mystery. Okay, and that's ironic because a lot of this come from the scriptures. Okay, how the prophets saw things and wrote it. And one come to mind, John the Revelator. When you read Revelation, the first chapter, you see, when thou seest, write it. Okay, and this young boy here, his name is Caleb. Okay, and at the end, he made it to the so-called promised land, but which was a new world. Now the scripture says the earth will abide forever, but they show the earth is being destroyed, and they showed the angels. These are supposed to be aliens, but they was angels, and they was guiding them. And these angels, when you see them, they were really pale, and they had yellow hair. So everybody knows what how to break that part down, and that wouldn't have been so. Okay, so it was a lot of spirituality in the movie, you know. So anyway, it also showed how fast the place got, the world got destroyed. Was that world represents Babylon, okay? Of how fast Babylon will be destroyed. Now, from the time it took him to get in the car and drive through the streets and make it to his parents' house, you have to watch the whole movie. It doesn't say, but it wasn't that long, so you would estimate probably about an hour, and that's what how the Lord said it was going to be. Now, you have a lot of Christians that say, okay, when they're not worried about it, they're saved by Jesus. Okay, now when you look in the movie, you would have seen that the boy and the girl are the ones that got saved because they were supposed to start a new world, so to speak. So they were a very small number of an elect. Okay, so they were elected, and everybody else got destroyed. Okay, so let me say the elect represents them. Okay, as of Joshua and Caleb. Okay, so out of everybody, and I'm sure there was people who were saying they was Christians and they were saved. This is a prime example that in this man's movies he even understands. Although he thinks he's going to run to underground shelters and flee out of space, but he understands, the Most High still put it in him to understand that all nations and kingdoms fall. Okay, and this is just another example of what's going to happen. So when you are teaching, you can eat what you want. You can eat abominable foods, and the law doesn't exist. Well, let's see what the scriptures say. Isaiah 66:17. It says, "They that sanctify themselves." And when you looked in the movie, the woman, she was trying to flee to the cave, right? Well, we could get the spirituality out of that. She was trying to flee to the cave. Okay, and it says, "And purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree, in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord." Okay, consumed with what? Consumed with fire. This fire that you see now, this is supposed to be the sun getting mad at the earth and shooting out solar flares and killing the when you're dealing with the earth magnetic force. Okay, you have what you call, if an EMP strikes, kills all your electrical components, and the radiation belt, so to speak, that's around the earth, when that is destroyed, then that the solar there's no protection from the sun, the solar energy. Okay. It says right here, Revelations 18:10, standing the. Let me go to 6. It says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works, and the cup which she had filled to her double. Okay, exactly what was done to us has got to come back. Okay, it's double. You know, I mean, this man is the only being on the planet that claim he doesn't have to pay for what has been done. Okay, it says how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously off the backs of who? You Israelites. Live deliciously off the backs of you Israelites. Enjoying sports and, you know, the athletics, you know, even to this day, off of your music, off of your sports, you know, and all the selling out that has to take place. It says, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I see the queen and no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judged her. So when you look at the movie, you know, you get a lot out of it. You know, it crept up on them. They had no idea. Now, in the events, this the young man Caleb, he was prophesying, and he didn't really understand what he was seeing. You know, and Nicolas Cage, his father, had to break down all the writings and the things that was being said. Okay, so they were showing all the events, like the 9/11, the Oklahoma City bombing, all the terrorist events, the high amount of catastrophes that killed a lot of people with earthquakes and volcanoes. And then they had it all the way written up to the nuclear, well, the sun burning the earth, which we say nuclear fire. Now, this is relevant because us as prophets, okay, we don't know the day or the hour, but we know, and we can see through the Spirit that these things that we're seeing that the prophets wrote down is sure to come to pass. Now, when you read, I believe, Matthew the 24th chapter, it goes into that. Okay, it says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her. Okay, because they was making money off of Babylon, Babylon the Great, which you know at this place that we in now. When they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, the mighty city, for in 1 hour the judgment is come. Okay, is thy judgment come? And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore, right? Because there's not going to be any trades and selling and stocks. Okay, now these elites who know about, who understand some of this, they believe that they're in control of it. Okay, they're even saying, well, we're going to take we were liquidating America, we're going to take all the stocks out of it, we're going to change everything, we're going to diverse America, and we're going to do all these things. But they don't understand that they speak through Satan and Shaitan, and he the one directs them. But the Lord is the one that's ultimately guiding everything and bringing everything into motion. Okay? They believe that they're going to escape and start a new world. They're trying to explore, okay, other worlds and planets, you know. So they claim. They understand that something is very wrong. Okay? The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and of fine linens and purple and silk and scarlet and all thine wood and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manners of most precious wood and brass and iron and marbles. This is your furniture, your cars, okay, your televisions, your appliances, and cinnamon and odors and ornaments and frankincense and wine. These is all your sweet smelling colognes and foods and clothes and everything, man. And your wine, your drinks, and oil and fine flour and wheat and beast and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. And thy fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly and are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of the kings which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing. And why is that? Because they know that the world as they know it is changed. When Babylon is destroyed, the world that they know is going to change. Okay? The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for fear of torments, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city was clothed in fine linen, purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. Now you'll have a lot of groups, there even some Israelites now are saying, because you see decked with purple and gold and all that, that's talking about the Vatican. So let's go to Revelation 17, and I think I'm going to start at Revelation 17, and we're going to probably go to verse 5 first. And we're going to prove that is not talking about, this is not talking about the Vatican City. Revelation 17 and 5, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Okay? So let's go down to 15. It says, and he saith unto me, thus, it says, Salaki, it says, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Okay? You don't see this at the Vatican. A water where the horse sitteth, with people, multitudes, and nations and tongues. Yes, you will have some people there who may speak some different tongues or even different nationalities. But on a high level on this planet, there's only one landmass that have that much, that fits that prophecy to that level. Because number one, slaves was brought here. Number two, you had which is so-called immigrants. Okay, and number three, you had Esau who came, and now you have every nation on the planet flocking to America. Everybody says America is great. That's why Trump is trying to make it great again by doing what he did to make it great the first time. Okay, it's just that simple. We're going to go on to further prove that this is not talking about Vatican City back in the scriptures. This is verse 15, Revelation 18 and 15. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, the great city that was clothed with fine linen and purple and scarlet, decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour the great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood far off. Okay, so that's not talking about the Vatican. Okay, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, so if it's the Vatican, what the heck is supposed to happen to America? Okay, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, what city is like unto this great city? And that cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing. Okay, so what city is that great that'll cause people to basically lose their damn minds? Okay, Alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For 1 hour she is made desolation. That's pretty much all I have on that. That's what's got to happen to Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon. Okay, that's what's got to happen to the daughter of Babylon. Death, destruction. Okay, in 1 hour. Okay, that's all I have. That's all I have on that. Shalom.
All the pieces are falling into place. As you can see, though, that pretty much Magog is being a guard unto these countries, which the biblical prophecy said so. And we see it. We see that there, and we see that Esau is making his war, and he's pushing the charagma. So everything's falling into place. So the thing we got to do is remain diligent, and he that holds steadfast will endure shall be saved in the very end of that, and that I will keep thee from the hour of temptation. That is the microchip, because the microchip is right around the corner. As you could tell, though, they are doing more false flags, that so-called stabbing, which is most likely fake, because of course they fake the news. It's just a blue screen behind them, like they did with the war against Iraq. They pretended that Bashar al-Assad, well, that's what they're doing now. They fake the news about that, those white helmets, but they faked the news about Saddam Hussein hitting Saudi Arabia with a Scud missile, and the place being bombed. You find out that it was in the studio in CNN studios in Chicago. That base was never hit in Saudi Arabia, but we were made to believe it because it was on the news. So they're staging these other things, these gutter rats, these Amalekites, Everybody knows that they're not the real Jews, and so, now they are pretty much falsifying news reports saying that somebody's gone and stabbed them. Because they're about to make their war against us, because we were already on that list, big time, aka black identity extremist groups and so on, which Great Millstone is not even affiliated with any black identity extremist groups, and most of us aren't even so-called black or brown. A lot of us have different shades, We are different shades, because we're going to look like the other nations of where we've been scattered. A good portion of us, will have shades of brown. But you can't just say that we're all just, aka black, even though, you got a lot of those false counts, which Esau set them up. These black-only Israelites, which are just there as a distraction, And we don't waste our time praying for those that ain't going to get it. I think that most of us can speak and say that we're past all that. If they're not going to get it, you just move on to the next. So the gates of mercy are closing, and so what's happening is brothers' channels are getting taken down, right and left. So there isn't much more time. That means that we're getting close to the very end here. So in the end, it shall speak, and we're seeing these prophecies speaking. Much more louder than words now that S-400s are all over what Esau likes to call the Middle East, which is really Hamath and Arpad, So we're seeing all that. So you're just going to take a look at other things going on, and I'll come back with some scriptures after a few videos play. If you've been watching these, you already know how this goes.
It may be yet another story of militants, once friendly to the U.S., now finding themselves on Washington's terror list. Congress is urging the State Department to do so with the Azov Battalion and 2 other far-right paramilitary groups, while the subcommittee leading the charge is looking for support on both sides of the political spectrum.
I'm baffled as to why my Republican colleagues have refused to sign on to this. Not only are Azov Battalion, National Action and Nordic Resistance Movement directly connected to inspiring attacks in the homeland, they're direct purveyors of anti-Semitic ideologies that inspire attacks against Jews.
The State Department has yet to respond, but their contemplation is understandable, given they've fought Washington's battles in the past. But these guys are not your everyday soldiers. These neo-Nazis were supposed to be confined to the imagination of Russian propagandists. So why the sudden 180? Well, Washington was only fine with them when they were all the way in faraway Ukraine. And those guys have since come to the U.S. Remember this? The nation was in shock. Such a large gathering of the extreme right, a protester killed. But there were other events lurking in the background that got barely any media coverage. The organizers of these right-wing riots actually flew to Ukraine and were trained by the Azov Battalion.
On August 1st, 2018, an Instagram user tagged Right Brand Clothing's account in a post containing a photograph of Rise Above movement members during their trip to Germany, Ukraine, and Italy, meeting with Olyena Simonyanka, the leader of the International Department for the National Corps, which is a political party in the Ukraine that was founded in 2016 out of a regiment of the Ukrainian military called the Azov Battalion.
Only a year later, a U.S. soldier was charged with planning a terrorist attack. He was planning to join, you guessed it, Azov Battalion.
Smith was reported to have disseminated guidance on how to construct improvised explosive devices, and to have spoken about his desire to travel to Ukraine to fight with the Ukraine-based violent far-right paramilitary group, Azov Battalion.
Once they come knocking on the U.S.'s door, they become a lot scarier.
Some of the more radical groups, including these ones with Nazi ideology, are not really happy with Mr. Zelensky, and they're putting a lot of pressure on him not to go forward with any kind of status for the Donbass, any kind of reconciliation that would lead to an end of the war and the standoff with Russia. So I don't know why suddenly these congressmen, who are by no means unsupportive of Ukraine as a tool against Russia, and are not happy, I'm sure, with any kind of initiative for Mr. Zelensky, why they would undermine people who up till now had been their allies in Ukraine. So there are a lot of paradoxes in this.
Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Our Hakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Shalom to the sincere brethren out there pushing his word, and to you sincere listeners. So I just wanted to go into a lesson. And as you've seen from the video that was shown, this devil's making moves, man. So what he's trying to do now, he's trying to get Congress to pass legislation to label, a certain group, which is out in Ukraine. He's trying to get them labeled as, a terrorist organization, And the reason why he's trying to do that is because this, group, they've come to the United States and they've infiltrated, the, what do you call it, so-called white supremacist movement. These different far-right organizations that's here consisting of these Edomites. And Esau, he's been trying to plot, terrorist attacks and whatnot. So, you got this push to label by law, mind you, to label by law this group as a terrorist organization, which, we all know what this is really, geared towards. Or as I did a video a while back, you know, on how they was trying to pass, these different internet rules and regulations to basically label anybody with, that speaks about hate speech or, bigotry, that they're going to remove these people from off of their platforms, which this is all aimed at the truth at the end of the day, and it's no coincidence, while he's doing this, you got, which a lot of brothers have done videos on it, that Jake that got arrested, for, attacking so-called Jews, and he's claiming to be, the real Israelite, which is actually true. He is the actual Israelite. He's an actual descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That is true. But while they're, setting this up, they're setting up the other narrative. Why? Because at the end of the day, they're going to label us terrorists, but he has to start somewhere. He ain't just going to come and say, oh, see, the Hebrew Israelite, they're terrorists. They want to destroy things. He does things in increments, man. All right. And he's been going after these, so-called Edomite, these so-called white supremacists, the Edomite supremacists. He's been going after them. He's going after them first. All right. And you brothers, you should be familiar with Project Megiddo. The Hebrew Israelites are on there, as well as these, so-called white supremacists. So anything that, this devil is doing towards them, eventually is going to trickle down to us, man. All right. So he's going to end up passing legislation to label us as a terrorist organization or a group of terrorists, and that's the reason why that Jake is on the news, man. At the same time, while this thing is going on, are they going to try to have a push in Congress? They're label them terrorists. And what happens when they label you a terrorist? Basically, all of your rights are gone, man. They can do whatever they want to you. They can lock you up and detain you indefinitely. All right, which just all leads to, this devil coming down with great wrath, man. This is the time that we're in. All right, and we know why he's doing these things. All right. If this passes, this is going to set that precedent that, oh, look, I can label people domestic terrorists by law. All I got to do is write the law, and, whoever I deem as a terrorist is going to be a terrorist, and I can, handle them accordingly. So that's what this is all about. All right. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Yeah, and we know exactly what's going on, man. And it's no coincidence that this is going on at the same time while that Jake, just got arrested, for allegedly, threatening two so-called Jews, and telling them the truth that they, fake, they're imposters, Because at the end of the day, when this man rolls on us, he's going to do the same thing that he's doing to these, Edomite supremacists. And don't get it twisted. I ain't got no sympathy for these guys. I ain't telling you to feel bad for them. You just watch what's going on, man. All right. Watch what this devil is doing to these Edomite supremacist groups, because he's going to do the same thing to us. All right. The same way he's coming down on them is just a precursor of what he's going to do to us. This is just the precedent that he's using. The reason why he can go after them first, because everybody hate Esau, man. All right. Everybody got a problem with this devil. So he's going to go after them first because the people are going to be on board with it. All right. And once he, sees how to get those that group labeled as terrorists, and these people will be on board with it, he's going to do the same thing to the Israelites. All right. As you've seen in the news clip, they, brought up what happened, I believe it was at Charleston, where those, you had those Edomite supremacists, they was protesting. And then it was a Edomite, a Edomite supremacist, so-called, or a so-called white supremacist. He's part of one of those Edomite nationalist groups. They hit and killed one of them protesters with the car, man. And, they pretty much, labeled that, kind of as a terrorist attack, man. These groups are executing terror. They had another Edomite. He actually went over, to the Ukraine to be trained by these people. And then he came back over here and they, arrested him for plotting a terror plot, man. He was about to do a terrorist attack. And they're going to do the same thing to the Israelites. You know, we know they got different, you know, paid agents, you know, or they could just hit some Jacob, you know, because there be agents on the comment boards that be, you know, chatting with people, man. So they could just go, let's meet up, you know, and they could frame you, man, you know. Or they could get one of these bugged out jakes, you know, to you know, agree to do something. We know how, you know, the FBI and the CIA, their entrapment programs work. All they need is one person, man, you know, to push that narrative of, yo, look, see, this is what they're all about. All right, so that's why this thing is going on, man. It says at least Satan should get an advantage of us, so we are not ignorant of his devices. And what does this man ultimately want to do? He wants to destroy the nation of Israel, man. All right, but he ain't just gonna come out and say that because he's the devil. So he's gonna come with that deception. He's gonna try to. He ain't gonna try. He is gonna paint us as a terrorist organization. All right. He's gonna say we terrorists. Oh, see, this is what the Israelites want to do. These Hebrew Israelites, these black Hebrew Israelites, they want to kill everybody. Look at this. They're applying terrorist attacks here. Let's round them all up. Okay. This is a Revelation. This is Revelation 12 and 17. It says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman. Okay, and this is the state that this damn devil is in right now. He's wroth with the woman. Who is the woman? The nation of Israel. All right. Why? Because the truth is coming out. He's getting exposed. All right. And this word is single-handedly bringing his kingdom down, man. It says in the dragon, which the dragon, you know, represents the Roman Empire, which the revitalized Roman Empire is America, NATO, and the EU. Okay. It says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. So this man is going to come up against the remnant of the Israelites, man. The ones that had the testimony of Yahweh Shai. What's the testimony of Yahweh Shai? The spirit of prophecy, man. So he's going to come against the prophets. He's going to roll on the prophets, the men that go out there on the highways and hedges to teach, you know, that you know, make these videos. He's going to come against you, man. He's going to label you a terrorist organization. All right. He's going to use that to justify him going after you in the manner in which he's going to go after you in. All right. Which, when this is going on, this is going to kick off Jacob's trouble. All right. This is Jeremiah 30 and 7. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right. And we are, you know, in the midst of that right now. All right. We're in the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble, but this thing is going to get hotter, man. And it's going to culminate with this man, all right, coming to make war against the nation of Israel. Why? Because we're pushing out the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai throughout the earth, man. We're ushering in the kingdom of heaven, which means what? This man got to go down. And you don't want that happening. All right. So what is he going to do? He's going to label the Israelites a terrorist group. All right. Oh, look. Well, he already setting it up. You know. What do they do? Oh, they go around. You know, they call you know, people of Jewish descent. That's what this damn devil gonna say. They call people of Jewish descent fake Jews. They're anti-Semitic. You know, which that's BS in itself, man. There's no such person as Sem. Okay, when you read in the scriptures, the man's name was Shem. All right, and he was the progenitor of many nations, including the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, which we are the true biblical Israelites. That's just truth, man. All right. But he's going to use these same tactics that he's using against these so-called white supremacist groups. He's going to use these tactics against the Israelites. All right. He's going to deem the Hebrew, he calls us black Hebrew Israelites. He's going to deem us terrorists, man. Then he's going to roll on us. Just as you're going to see him, he's going to get ready to roll on these Edomite supremacist groups, man. Okay. Well, they're pushing in the Congress right now that this group gets labeled a terrorist group, man. And the reason why they want to do that is because they got cells over here in the United States amongst these Edomite supremacists. All right. And then, well, they said they're trying to plot terrorist attacks, man. The same thing is he gonna do to the truth. He gonna get some patsy, set some patsy up, and he gonna push some kind of attack or crime upon him, man. Then he's gonna use that to label the entire movement, to tarnish the entire movement. All right, to tarnish the truth, but it ain't gonna work. All right, because everybody's waking up to your BS, man. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right. And when this is going on, his justification for coming down upon the nation of Israel is going to be, oh, look, they're terrorists. Same thing he's doing to these Edomite groups. All right. And we already know what your agenda is, man. All right. So, basically what we just got to do is just continue to prepare ourselves and make sure that we write, with Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because this man, he is getting ready to execute his agenda, man. All right, this is Revelation 12:12. It said, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And we right around the corner from this man instituting this. All right. You see, the news clip that came out concerning that, that Jake that actually knows, he's an Israelite, and he got arrested for, a so-called hate crime against so-called Jews, man. All right. And then you got this going on, this man trying to get legislation passed to label, these people as terrorists here in the United States, man. All right. And then what you think is going to happen when that goes through? He's going to be able to deny these people their rights. He's going to be able to roll on them, do whatever he wants to them, man. All right. Come down with that great wrath. All right. So I just want to go into that real quick. Yahweh Shem Yahushua willing. It was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Our Hakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Shalom.
Going to read out of Revelation 16 because we're in that time. As you can see, all the movements happening, with, Vladimir Putin now arming the, Hamath and Arpad. These places now have the S-400 systems. So they are quite capable of shooting nuclear missiles over here, the long-range missiles. So, man, everything's about ready to go off. So I'm reading one of my favorite chapters. Revelation chapter 16 and verse 1. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of Yahweh upon the earth. Because this is about the time when Babylon the Great and all the kingdoms of Esau Edom will be destroyed in this same hour. And the first went out and poured out his vial upon the earth. And there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, the RFID implant, and upon them that worship his image. In other words, bought into all the technologies and all the great things that they thought they would endure. And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as the blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in it. And that's pretty much by way of them nuclear missiles, again. And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and the fountains of waters, and they became blood, by way of the destruction of them missiles, and you can say them chariots too. And I heard the angel of the waters say, thou art righteous, O Yahweh, which art and wast and shall be, because thou hast judged us. For they have shed the blood of the saints and prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. All these red Hebrew Edomites going to pay for what they had done to us. This is the hour that the judgments go out. And I heard another out of the altar say, even so, Yahweh, power, almighty, true and righteous are thy judgments. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire, which, again, is by way of them nuclear missiles, All men were scorched with great heat. I mean, the fervent heat that comes from these nuclear missiles is unlike any other. And blasphemed the name of Yahweh, which had power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory. So they just cursed him out because of what's happened. And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, in other words, the military. And his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain. And that's why by Yahweh, sending Yahushai to destroy the armies of Esau. And blasphemed the power of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not of their deeds. And of course, we see this happening now. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Well, we already know Gomer dried up the waters, of the Euphrates not so long ago, a few years ago. So this has actually historically now happened. So it's actually historical. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs coming out of the mouth of the dragon, that is Esau Edom, and out of the mouth of the beast, which is his military structure, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, all in one kingdom, pretty much all the bullshit that they spill, especially stretch Christianity and so on, is considered, the Roman Catholic Church is pretty much the false prophet, if you want to get technical. For they are the spirits of devils working miracles. And that's another thing, is the Roman Catholic Church does have its sphere of influence in the military. Make no mistake about it. I mean, you just saw Pope Francis over here fucking giving orders at the UN. So don't tell me that the false prophet ain't involved, which is the Roman Catholic Church. Roman Catholic Church, they're all Freemasons, and they all work hand in hand with the beast and the kingdom, which go further unto the kings of the earth and out of the whole world to gather them to the battle of the great day of Yahweh Almighty. Pretty much, though, they've been prepared. That's why the Space Force has been built. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they shall see his shame. Most people are walking around naked, man. They have no idea what the fuck's going on. They're fucking dumb as hell, man. They can't see what's right around the corner. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, which Armageddon means that mountain of troops. And the seventh angel poured out his vial in the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne, saying, It is done. In other words, by way of the angels, via the chariots and Yahushai leading, as well as the missiles flying, there was no chance Esau could stand up to this. And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, by the way of the nuclear destruction when Babylon the Great gets destroyed, such as was not since men were upon the earth. So mighty an earthquake and so great. Yeah, because that's a very large place in the entire world. It's actually going to be felt worldwide. And the great city was divided into three parts, and the cities of the nations fell. And that's talking about all the places of Esau, Edom. But in particularly, great Babylon came in remembrance before Yahweh, to give unto her the cup of the wine of fierceness of his wrath. So Babylon the Great, that destruction is going to be felt worldwide. And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. So pretty much it's disintegrated, nothing but wasteland out there. And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about a weight of a talent, which was very descriptive of them nuclear missiles. I mean, a weight of talent? I mean, come on. They're talking about these cylinder talents that get shot off. And men blasphemed Yahweh because of the plague of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceedingly great. This nuclear destruction is going to be unlike any other. So, that's why we encourage our people not to take the mark of the beast, the RFID. Don't be deceived by Esau Edom. And the elect of us will not be deceived by that, for he will keep us from that hour of temptation, which you can see, it's pretty much right around the corner. We won't be on here much longer, so get this while you still can. For that, I want to say, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash, Wa Abba Babal. Brakatum, the hopeful elect. Shalom.
Alright, Shalom. Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Kal Halayim. La Alahayanawa, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash, the water Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Shalom Wabarakim, Labakaim Yasha Allah, Washini Kabad, Gawala Wakab, Zakwani Noah, Wahashal Yakim Noah Yasha Allah Ba'ai. Alright, giving all praise to the Most High Yahweh, and name his son Yahweh Shai. Alright, peace and blessings be upon the elect of Israel. Alright, those whom Yahweh Shai is coming to deliver, the 144,000 in the house of David, alright, prophesied to receive salvation from Yahweh Shai, which consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the rest of the Israelite foreigners that John saw in Revelation 7 and 9. Alright, so I just want to do a quick video about how terrorists are making Esau afraid on every side. Alright, this is taken from Awayaba, or Awayab, which means persecuted. Job, the 18th chapter. Alright, and we've been reading this, the elders and apostles, they've been bringing out these precepts for years and years and years, and now we're really starting to see it. And the Wadi Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that he's making these things come to pass, because right now terrorists are well, back in slavery and what Esau has done to us, he used to make terrorists make us afraid on every side. So what's going on is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is turning that, and Job actually prophesied about what's going on right now. Alright, now this is Job 18 and verse 7. Let me start at 6. This is really good. This is 18 and 5. It says, yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. So that's why you have a lot of people spewing hate about the so-called white race, which are the biblical Edomites. All right, Esau's name was changed to Edom. It's the same man, and you all are you so-called self-proclaimed white people. You are the Edomites. All right, now your light of you saying that you're white and you know, you got to pass your SAT test and you have to have your certain IQ, you have to be to your certain status quo. That's being put out. You know, nobody cares about following the so-called white man's way of life anymore. Why? Because the light of the wicked is being put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. The light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out within him. And you can see that there's an economic collapse, there's a societal collapse, racial tensions are increasing. All right, and really he's the elites of you Edomites, you so-called white people. They're the ones pushing this. All right, they're the ones using the psyop, their programs to control the minds of the people. All right, to start getting aggressive, getting upset, you know, getting back into that ancient spirit, just like they are, which really they've stayed in it. Verse 7, the steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down. And you see that. That's why they're trying to impeach Trump right now. And it said, when it says straightened, that's STRAITENED. All right, which means it shall be narrow. What's going on, what he's trying to accomplish, you just can't shoot down so-called innocent people anymore and get away with it. You see what's going on with the police brutality is increasing. All right, you had this woman this Jake woman holding her baby, and the cop was pointing the gun directly at the baby. Now they fired this cop, but hey, this stuff goes on all the time. Now it's being brought to the forefront because the light is being put out. All right, it says, verse 8, Job 18 and 8, for he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare. The jinn shall take him by the heel, and the robber shall prevail against him. Those are traps, all right? Jinns and snares to catch animals. It says, the snare is laid for him in the ground, and a trap for him in the way. Terrors shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. And that's going to be one of the main things that drive this man to his feet in this country. It might be an economic collapse, which might cause inflation, and to send people into the streets and start burning shit down like they're doing in Beirut, like they're doing in Chile, like they're doing over there in China and in Japan and in different parts of Africa and Europe and Spain. All right, those are the terrors that are making him afraid on every side. Now those terrors are going to come to these shores. All right, it said it's going to drive him to his feet. This is what Yahweh Shai said, Matthew 24 and 4. It says, and Yahweh Shai answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And you see the community, the Christian community, what they're doing is they're starting to turn towards reading now. They actually have to read the scriptures because they hate us. They hate Yahushua so much and the words that we speak so much that it's forcing them to go read. All right, and in doing so and then do reading, they're coming up with these wacky tacky beliefs, and now they want people to believe like they're the anointed, like what they're saying is right. But Christianity's been around for hundreds of years. You know, what the hell's going on? How come Yahushua hasn't came and saved us? If Christianity is the way to go, then what the hell's going on? How come the earth is in such an uproar? It's because Christianity is deceiving many, like the scripture just said. Verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And we know that it's not yet. Why? Because there are wars going on. All right, Turkey got boots on the ground in Syria. All right, so it's going down. All the armies are slowly gathering to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is Yahweh Shaphat, the Most High's judgment. And that's also making Esau very afraid. All right, because you got Edomites in our homeland in Israel. The people that are in Israel today are not the real Jews. The real Jews, the majority of them are over here in America. All right, and they have dark skin. All right, and also they also look like other nations. But those people that are in Israel today are not the real people, man. All right, and how do we know? Because there's wars going on. The Lord said when the people of the Lord would be in the land again, the nations would learn war no more. All right, so all these wars are increasing. Guess what? That war is going to come here to America, and it's making Esau very afraid. Not the elites or anything. These lower level Edomites, you so-called white people, you see the racial tension, all right, increasing, and you see that what? All eyes are focusing on you. All right, all eyes are focusing on you through the spirit, so it's making you hysterical and confused. All right, like the rat that you are. What's that movie? That movie, I think it was it Shatas? I think it was Shatas. They laid the Edomite down, they put the rat on his stomach, and they put a bucket on top of the rat, and they heated up the bucket, right? And because the rat was so scared from the heat in a confined area, it started trying to chew its way out. It tried to start doing anything that it could to escape, and that's what's going on. The heat's being turned on you rats, or you Edomites. Terrors are making you afraid, and there's nowhere to escape, though. That's the thing. You're just going to get torched in the fire, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, when he destroys America. Verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All right, now those are the terrors. Again, Awayab 18, Job 18 and 11. It says, terror shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. His strength shall be hunger bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his side. That's why Russia's talking about they got a hypersonic missile that no missile defense system on Earth can stop, they said, until the year 2050. 2050. That shit just sound funny. You know? Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua forbid we're here till 2050. But you know, that's the terror. That's the terror that Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is bringing to this man. And I got another precept, and I got to wrap up and head into the Shaddai, but I wanted to bring this out through the spirit. The Shaddai means the plantation, you know, the field, all right, the workplace. Jeremiah 49 and 10, it says, but I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places. And now you can see his secret places being uncovered. All right, and that's making him afraid, because you have a lot of people that ain't with that transhumanism, transgendered, all these multiple gender shit, man. How about Shimei Shah is going to destroy America for that? Something just came out, a secret of Esau, you so-called white people, you elites, a legislation that next year they're going to start putting in the history books to teach our children trans history, transsexual history. All right, that's in another. Listen to this, man. This is madness. That's how we know that Esau's the end of the world. I'm gonna have to end it on that. This man knows he's the end of the world. That's another reason why he's afraid. That's another terror unto him. This man, there's a study that 95% of baby food has lead in it and has metallic toxins in it. How? This man, he wants to feed your children poison, right? Then he wants to vaccinate them before they even go to school. Then when they get to school, he wants to teach them to be a transsexual. This man is off the chain, man. He's doing too much. That's why Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua has to come back and destroy this man. All right. It's 2019 is been crazy, man. You know, and Esau, these terrors are coming real soon. Jeremiah 49:10. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. He is not be able to hide himself. That's right. A good example of that, what popped up in my head was when that Rothschild arrived at that airport, and they bombarded this motherfucker. Excuse my language. This rat. Let me say that. They bombarded this Rothschild rat. He couldn't hide. They were telling him to get the hell out of our country. You know, don't come back here. You know, and that's a physical representation of what's going on in the spirit. Because what we're doing, we are making Esau bare by doing these virtual letters, prophesying about his end and the terrors that are coming upon him. 2 Ezra 6:7. Then answered I said, what shall be the parting asunder of times, and when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? He said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac Yatazahak, when Jacob, Yaquab, and Esau were born, as Joshua, of him Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, and that's what's going on. That's what's going on right now. You see the tribes, the 12 tribes of Israel, the elect family of Israel are waking up and they're coming together. All right. And that power structure of Esau is being pulled down because Jacob's hand is holding on to Esau's heel. He's straightened. Remember, the scripture said he shall be in straits. All right. And destruction shall be waiting for him. And part of the destruction are the race riots. Ultimately, the nuclear missiles to destroy America in World War III. Verse 9, it says, for Esau is the end of the world. He hates it. He hates this precept. It says, for Esau is the end of the world, and he's terrified. And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And that's what we have. That's the promise that we have. You know, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is going to destroy this place. All right, but he's not gonna utterly destroy the house of Jacob. All right. He's not going to utterly destroy the house of Jacob through the Spirit. So, Tawadi Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua for that promise and bringing these terrors upon Esau. All right. Shalom to elect tuning in. Let me just, Shalom, just check, see if there's any comments. Yeah, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua brought a thumb to all you Akim and very few Akwathim that might be tuning in to this live view. All right. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up, you know. Brakatha Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. The water Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua for allowing me to do this, putting the Spirit on me to do this. I pray that we all continue to fight until the end, until the Most High cuts off the internet, because the internet ain't forever, like one of my beloved brothers says. All right. So yeah, Shalom wa barakim to you all, and double honors to our elders and apostles in these times known as a great millstone. All right. In the English, in the Hebrew, the Ibariath, it would be Gawala Wakab. All right. Sheni Kabbalah Kam. Shalom. Shalom.
If a blank can't get it, we're moving on. I just came across a video that was put up by the elder Manat Zakba. This was on the GMS South Carolina 05 page, YouTube. The name of the video is Unbelievers Will Be Disregarded. And this is a still shot, 2 minutes and 16 seconds in of a 39-minute video. And you see here, you see the Jake came out of nowhere. And you can see that he has his pants hanging off his ass. You know, bottom line is the Most High, it says on the top here, it says he ignores that question because the Elder Manatazak asked him about the mark of the beast, and he kind of said something about it, but he kind of walked over. He's looking at the pictures. Then he about a couple of seconds later, if you watch the video, he notices the picture of Cesare Borgia, and he says, you got him as a Negro. And he said the guy's Middle Eastern. And these Jakes are bugged out of their fucking mind. And you know what? You know, you have a lot of people when we go out. Well, why ain't you going in the hood? Cause all you're gonna get is niggas like this. You're gonna get these ghetto scholars, and you're gonna get niggas that's really not gonna come into the truth. You know, like I said a long time ago, I said I believe that the 144,000 are already sealed, which they are, but are they woken up? Now, I doubt very seriously if this guy is one of the 144,000 unless he repents. But we're in a time of this end coming, you know. And after this individual left, they brought out Amos, the 9th chapter, dealing with the sinners of our people. They're gonna die. The Most High is gonna destroy them. We're only here to not to wake up, because the Most High will wake up the elect. We're only here to push His word out, because the Most High said through the Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians, the 1st chapter, by the foolishness of preaching. So the Most High, the way his movie, you know, He's the ultimate director, and the movie is this: I'm going to have my people be destroyed by the Edomites. I'm going to set up all these nations, and at the end, I'm going to raise my people up and take Esau, which is over the world right now, put him on the bottom of Israel. You know, that's in 2nd Ezra's, the 6th chapter. You know, we know it by heart. You know, Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And we done brought this out many a times. Yeah, it says in the 9th verse, for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And this is why you got guys like Vocab saying that we don't accept the Apocrypha, because you have to deal with this. Jacob is, if Jacob is in the power seat, then the kingdom would be here. It's obvious Jacob is not in the power seat. So who's in the power seat? The one that's getting ready to go down, which is Esau. So that's you so-called white people. You're on the top. Let me get back to this here. And like we've been saying, the Most High is only dealing with the elect. He's not dealing with anybody else. I was watching another video with the elder out of GMS Baltimore, and he did a video where you had that demon called Sister Cherry and G-Man. They had like a live stream, and you know, she was going into the history, the Leviticus, the 11th chapter, and she knows it because they watch us. They even beginning to grow beards now. I notice Vocab, all of a sudden he's growing a beard. Even Dr. James White the Edomite is growing a full beard. He used to have the beard kind of like a goatee, and now he has a full beard. So they're really following us. They're really learning from us, and they know in their heart of hearts that we have the truth. Anyway, the Most High is only dealing with the elect. And when we go out on the highways and the byways, it's because the Most High, you know, told us through the foolishness of preaching. He told us to go out on the highways and the byways and teach the children of Israel. You got Israelites that are trying to teach other nations when that's clearly in violation of the scriptures. The Most High, and I always go to this scripture, Ezekiel the 3rd chapter. It was told to Ezekiel, eat this roll, which represent the scriptures, and go and teach the children or the sons of Israel. Didn't say teach Edomites if they accepted or other nations. The Most High gave us the instructions, and our job is to go out there and to push this thing out. And you jakes out there that push this thing that you can eat swine, the Most High is going to destroy you. The Most High is going to destroy you. And he's gonna make you take that chip. Because the chip is the new swine. When you read, as a matter of fact, let me go to that. When you read First Maccabees, the first chapter, and you start at around, you can read the whole chapter. But the key point is in the 41st verse. And I'll read some of it. I may read the whole thing down to the end. Show you how wicked Antiochus Epiphanes was and the way the Most High took him out. You know, if you go to Google and you put in Antiochus the Fourth or Antiochus Epiphanes, if you go to Google, it'll reference you to the Maccabees, the books of the Maccabees, which show you that the Maccabees actually existed during the same time period as Antiochus Epiphanes. So Esau knows that. Anyway, it says here in the 41st verse, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. So that goes back to the whole one world government, one world rulership. On the Federal Reserve note, the $1 note, it says Anua Coeptus. It says what does this say? Our enterprise is crowned with success. That's what it means if you go to Google. And this success is on the bottom, which says Ordo Novus Seclorum. Order Novus, new, order Seclorum, meaning world. New order of the world, which is a one world order. So during the time of the king Cush, Nimrod, during that time period, they wanted to establish a one world government where everybody spoke the same language, they dealt with the same money, and they're doing it right now through the beast. And that mark is going to be the thing that they're going to use to say that everybody's under one banner when they take that chip. Now, back during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes, they didn't have the chip, but what he had was to take away the truth, the law from the Israelites. So it says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. So if you're going to be one people, you have to prove yourself. You got to do certain things. If your law says don't eat pork, he gonna make you eat pork. If your law says circumcise your sons, in order for you not to keep the law, don't circumcise your sons. And there were women. Now the Israelite women back then were much stronger than the women now. These women are bugged out of their fucking minds. The majority of them should have straight jackets on them. And they should be in a padded cell because they bugged the fuck out. But back then, you had what was called honorable woman. So you had women that, and it's right in this chapter, that they had went against the orders of Antiochus Epiphanes and went and circumcised their kids. You know what this demon did? He killed the women and hung the children, the babies. But anytime you say this man's a devil, there's always a Jake that'll jump up and say, no, you can't say that. That's why we don't give a flying fuck about the 2/3. You know, if you can't, we teach you the truth. If you can't get it, we're moving on. Like Yaquab said, way back in the 80s, in the 90s, if a nigga can't get it, we're moving on. Well, that's an attitude you got to take. And we go out on the highways and the byways, you know, we don't have to go to a particular place or a busy place. Basically, when we go out there, it's for a backdrop, because the Most High said, go ye out on the highways and the byways. And the word is being pushed now through the internet, the YouTube. So where will the elect come into this? They don't got to be standing in front of us. They can be 1,000 miles away, 100 miles away, watching us on YouTube. Anyway, it says 42nd verse, and everyone should leave his laws, so all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Now these were other nations that he had power over, and they said, yeah, we're with that. We won't follow our laws. And you had Israelites that had the same thought in mind. 43rd verse, yea, many also the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters. So this was a systematic thing. So the king had sent by letters by messengers unto Jerusalem or Jerusalem and the cities of Judah or Yehoiada, that they should follow the strange laws of the land. Now Jake, that are unbelievers like these Christians, you can not eat pork now. You can say, I'm not going to eat pork, I'm going to be a vegan. But Jake, they push that you can eat pork. It says, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbath and festival days. So you had your feast days, and pollute the sanctuary and the holy people. Who are the holy people? The Israelites. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine flesh and unclean beasts. So when you go to Leviticus, the 11th chapter, it breaks down what beasts you can eat and what beasts you can eat. Now this demon, Sister Cherry, said that law of not eating flesh and not eating certain foods, she basically said that that's only for the priests, the Levitical priests, but it wasn't for the rest of Israel. So the Most High's got a special destruction for her, because she's nothing but a demon. First of all, she's a woman. The scriptures say a woman shall not have authority over a man. But our women are completely out of order, so the Most High is going to kill the majority of our people. We're living in serious times, and you Israelites that are playing games with the chip, when that chip comes, man, you're going to have a lot of your people bugging the hell out. They might try to kill you, because they might say that you lied to them. 48th verse, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanity. The word profanity means outside the temple, doing things that are not holy. It said, to the end they might forget the law, to the end that they might forget the law. And that's what these Christians do in the churches. They'll say the law is done away with, and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandments of the king, he said he should die. Now what does it say in Revelation, the 20th chapter, the 4th verse? It speaks about them being beheaded for not taking the chip. In the self same manner wrote he to his and appointed overseers over all the people. So this was a systematic thing where they went and checked on people to see if they were eating pork, to see if they're checking their kids, to see if their kids the woman or the parents circumcise their children. It said, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. Sacrifice what? Swine flesh and unclean beasts. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, everyone that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land. And you know, when you eat pork, that's a wicked thing. And that's why the Most High, like I said early in this video, I said the Most High is going to destroy the majority of our people, and he's going to do it in a harsh, vicious manner. See, once the Most High gathers the elect, the rest of you, he's just going to destroy. Because the Most High set up the prophets, and we came out and told you that you were Israelites. The ones that listen are most likely the elect, and the ones that don't are simply not of the elect. And what is the Most High going to do? He's going to destroy the non-elect of Israel, and drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor. Succor meaning money. Now the 15th day of the month, Kes Leo, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar, and build idol altars throughout the cities of Yahweh on every side, and burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books, this right here got me pissed off. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burned them with fire. And that's what they're doing now through guys like Vocab. They're basically saying that we're breaking down scriptures the wrong way. So just like they came against us back then, they're coming against us again. And they're set up by the elites. 57 verse. And whosoever was found with any book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. So now you can open up the scriptures. But if you notice, you go on YouTube and you might do a video and you hitting scriptures, right? You ain't saying nothing, you ain't cursing nobody out. You know, you ain't calling them the N word or the F word or whatever, you know, Q word. But you might just read a couple of scriptures and they might take down your video. 58 verse. Thus did they, by the authority unto the Israelites, that's why we call ourselves Israelites and not Jews, because you have the tribe of Judah, which is Yahweh, you know, the tribe of Benjamin, the tribe of Levi, which make up the 12 tribes of Israel. So it's in the 58 verse again. Thus did they, by the authority, unto the Israelites every month to as many as were found in the city. So they checked on them to make sure they were eating their pork. If they had the law, they would rip the law up, burn it, and then kill the person that had the law. And they did that in chattel slavery. We're talking about 250 years ago. If they found you reading the scriptures, they would put you to death. It says, 59 verse. Now the 25th day of the month they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of God. So they took the Most High's altar and they sacrificed swine flesh. And that's how this devil operates. That's how this devil thinks. That's how this Edomite operates. It says in Psalm 50, verse 16, you read a couple of verses down from 16, 17 verse. It says that they hateth instruction and casteth the Most High's word behind them. They don't believe in the Most High's word. 60th verse, at which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women. They were putting to death women that had caused their children to be circumcised. So women back then were more honorable than the women today. Most of these women are demons, man. And the majority of our women, they're going to die. They're going to die by the sword. They're going to die by starvation. They're going to die in the riots. And a lot of them are going to die by way of the missiles. It says, 61st verse, and they hanged the infants. So how old were these children? They had to be around 8 years old or around 1 month old, because when they found, they would, remember, they were checking each and every house to see if the children, the newborn babies were circumcised, because they knew the law was on the 8th day you circumcise the all the men children. Now there's a reason why they said the 8th day, because if you did it on the 6th day, the baby would bleed out. A baby doesn't develop, you know, your blood clots. You know, when you bleed and the bleeding stops and it forms into a scab. That's the bleeding clotting. So scientists have found out that on the 8th day, that's when a baby, in this case a baby boy, they develop the clotting effect in their blood, so they wouldn't bleed out. So that shows you that the reason why the Most High said the 8th day, because it's scientific. There was a reason behind it. Where Esau's scientists and doctors are just finding out. There's a reason why the Most High said don't eat pork, because pork is not designed to be eaten by man. And I guarantee you, Sister Cherry's not going to eat a mouse, but guess what? She will be eating mice and every other cockroach out there when the Most High brings judgment against her. All these people that have come up against us, man, they're going to be judged. They're going to be judged. And we're not going to feel sorry for them either. 61st verse. And they hanged the infants about their necks and raffled their houses and slew them that had circumcised them, meaning killed the woman. Howbeit many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. But what does Jake do? Jake, you know, he's an apologist for eating pork and shrimp. Like I said, there's going to come a day of reckoning, and the Most High going to bring judgment on y'all. And when you cry and say that you're Israelites and call on the name of Yahweh, he's not going to hear your prayers. It says 63rd verse, wherefore the rather to die. So you had men and women that were willing to die than to eat pork. It said, wherefore the rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died. And there was very great wrath upon Israel. So the Most High is raising up, starting with the men, the elect of Israel, and they're not gonna fear death. They're gonna defy everything, and the ultimate thing that you're gonna defy is that mark, that chip. That's why the Most High put the spirit on us to go so hard on pushing the chip. You know, we're coming to some serious times. You jakes out there, you Israelites that been playing games, you're gonna get caught out there, man. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom, and it's on to the next one.
Shalom, shalom. Call hello, Yahweh Bashim Abishai, Bashim Wakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the scattered Israelites around the four corners of the earth, and to the Akwaf that are listening and learning to you, I say shalom. This is your brother Malcolm. I'm coming at you with another lesson. And you could probably lightly hear in the background, this is Mayor Lightfoot, you know, the LBGT, openly gay mayor, black woman, first in Chicago. And that's probably what got her in, because Chicago has a very large LBGT community, and I can almost promise you that she probably got about 90+% of their vote. All right, and basically what I chimed into is you're looking at this empty car lot, because about 3 weeks ago I actually stopped at this lot to look at cars and trucks, and I noticed about a mile from here there's another car lot that's the same. What was it called? Chicago's Best Auto, and it's done. It's gone. Because I drove past here, and it was probably at least 30+ cars on this lot. It's a used car lot, and they have 2 of them, and it's just gone, not there anymore. All right, and the same thing for a lot about, you know, I'm on Western, so this is about a mile south of here. It's the same deal, maybe a little bit over a mile out, maybe about 1.2 miles away south of here. And I'm noticing that up and down and across here. And basically I was lifting, so I pulled over, turned off the app, because often I lift in the morning, before I start doing what I do. The spirit just said, you know what, now is the time, because I saw this was empty a couple days ago. So what she's talking about now is Lyft and Uber. She's talking about all these different things that the city needs, and basically what's happening is the city is failing. So she wants to increase the taxes and the charges on Lyft, which is just going to eventually hurt the drivers. And what she's saying, that in Chicago we don't have a rush hour. We have it's when you get downtown, it's just congestion all day. It's just Chicago's rush hour all the time, sometimes worse than others. All right, and what she's trying to say is that the owners of Lyft and Uber are making, multi billions, if not millions of billions of dollars, hand over fist, and they need to pay their share, this, that, and the other. And it's like, wait a minute, that should go the same for a whole bunch of other businesses as well. It's just the fact that the system is completely imploding and collapsing upon itself. All right, this is Ecclesiastes. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes. 12. verses 3 and 4, and it says, "And the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders shall cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened." So basically, looking out of the windows and it be darkened is futures. People don't see a future. Suicides are so incredibly high in America across the board, man. All right, mainly people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, even some 50s, and mainly with the Edomites. All right, because they don't see a future anymore. All right, they're and these people get into this lift, and I can hear them complaining how their parents expect so much from them, but what they're trying to explain that it's not the same as when you were coming along. And then the ones who had money given to them from their baby boomer parents, which they got it from the parents before them, was just handed down from slavery, you know, for the most part. Speaking about, you know, well-to-do Edomites, you know, the ones now, they just want to party, get high, and they're just blowing away the inheritance and the money that was all made before them. That's all they're doing. All right. And the reason they're getting high and like that, some of them because they see it all going away, and some of them because they don't have anything. They don't see a future for themselves. You know, the people, that's why you got uprisings all over the place in different parts of the world, all around the country, and even here in America for that, you know, for that matter. All right. This is back in Ecclesiastes 12 and 4, and it says, "And the door shall be shut in the streets, and the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of the music are brought low." And it is brought low. All right, there are people rising up, filling out job applications, going online, traveling around, and they can't find anything. Lori Lightfoot is saying take public transportation. People get robbed, mugged, and sick on public transportation, man. All right, a lot of women get harassed and things like that on public transportation. Okay, she's making it sound like it's just so convenient for everyone. Well, for some people it is, but for everyone it's not, man. And Esau just wants to take away driving, and guess what? He's using the Eve, yet again Eve, to crack his whip. All right, because Eve is in league with Esau, Edom. You know, there's another video that I'm going to have to do on some planned revolution that Esau is planning, and Jake is all up in the mix of it. And the main people that he's using are women, mainly Eve. All right, because they're joining on to these Eves, man. All right, and Lori Lightfoot's on the radio right now talking about getting a budget passed. Look, you can't. What's the saying we have? You can't cover a shotgun blast, buckshot shotgun wound with band-aids, man. You just can't do it. All right, it's too many holes in the bucket, man. Everything's coming out of it. All right, but let me get one more scripture, man. I didn't want this really to be that long, because I just pulled over real quickly while I was driving past here, and it was on my spirit. This is Isaiah 8:20. Actually, I'm going to start at verse 18, because people are ignoring the signs, and they're not seeking the Lord, and they're ignoring the testimony of Yahushua, ignoring the prophecies, and they're looking for answers in all the wrong places, and they're looking to get help from the people who do nothing but continually lie and oppress. All right, they've lied about everything. They've lied about their heritage. They've lied about their history. They've lied about who they are. All right, you know, and then they've got all these Americans caught up in fraudulent contractual law and making money off of it. All right, but this is Isaiah 8:18, and it says, "Behold, I and the children whom Yahweh have given me, Salakia. Behold, I and the children whom Yahweh have given me are for signs and wonders in Israel, from Yahweh of hosts, which dwelleth in Zion." So the men of the Lord are constantly telling you what's going on, and it's playing out on TV and in the news and on the radio every day, playing in your face, man. All right, verse 19. And when they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits, and unto wizards that peep and mutter, should not a people seek unto their God for the living to the dead? So you wanna go to the media, which is what? Media comes from the word medium, which is just nothing but witchcraft, nothing but lies and propaganda being pushed on false narratives being pushed on the news. All right? And you want to go to these people for help, go to see the astrologer, all sort of madness. All right? Instead of listening to the men of the Lord and seeking out the Lord, man. All right? Isaiah 8:20. To the law and the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. And there is no light in these leaders, man. In Lori, because if Lori Lightfoot, I think that's her name, Lori, if she was truly a righteous woman, she wouldn't be in the position that she's in, and she wouldn't be sleeping with another woman trying to raising a child. How are two women gonna raise a daughter? They're just gonna raise another LBG thing. And then I had a lady riding today who kept proclaiming she's a Generation Xer, and how they just get left out. They don't even get talked about, and how she's seeing with her own eyes how they've surpassed the LBGT to this transgender thing, and she was telling me that this transgender thing has even got the LBGT, well, the T is transgender, but it's even got them kind of messed up in the head of how, because it's division among them, because the lesbian, the gays, the homosexuals, and the other people, they're a bit envious at how fast and how much rights that the transgenders have gotten, and how fast they got it when they had to fight so long for theirs. So this is just a madhouse, man. Why is it a madhouse? Because no one is following what's written in this book. All right. This is Micah 3:6. It says, therefore, night shall be unto you, that ye shall not have a vision, and it shall be dark unto you, and ye shall not divine, and the sun shall go down over the prophets, and the day shall be dark over them. So basically, the prophets are gonna leave these streets, man, and they're not. The famine of the word is coming. So by the time you people actually start trying to listen, it's going to be too late. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak, Wadash, Wa, Abba, Babal.